welcome to the Darkened Hour. This is your host and back, Joshua X Snowheart.
I don't know what that was.
What's up?
What's good, yo?
Yeah.
It's been a long time, man.
Like, that was the most.
I'm not used to seeing Aesop so far away. You're here, and it's like I'm used to like you know.
I'm
you're
so
like
sorry. I'm not used to being so. I have a big ass forehead. I am looking at myself, and holy hell, my forehead is huge.
You're not used to being on camera.
I'm
though.
not. Hi guys, what's up?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, it's been a minute. I haven't been here in a long time, and I see there's a new setup here only for the meantime because I know we're making a lot of preparations and stuff, new things, right?
New stuff's gonna be happening, Garu.
Yeah. Okay. So talk to me, guys. How have you guys been?
Still tired.
Always so tired.
I got drunk at a wedding, and then after the wedding reception was over, after reception was over, because the reception ended at like 10, we went to a bar. I don't know if that makes sense to you that like I was already drunk at a wedding, so I went to a bar to finish off the night.
Yeah.
Finish off the drunkenness. That's what you're trying
Was
to
an
do.
open bar at the wedding?
Kind of, because his cousin makes his own moonshine. So I bought 2 jars from him. So,
Dangerous.
Yeah.
Did it
pretty
come
much
like a
an open
mason
bar.
jar? Like a
moonshine usually comes in a mason jar.
a
Right?
mason jar, right? Wow.
And then
powerful stuff.
our boss was also there. He had a keg full of Yingling. So
Oh man.
I mean, I didn't have to pay for drinks because it was stuff there. It was practically an open bar.
Yeah, they
like,
just curated their own.
Yeah,
kind
everybody
of.
brought
Everyone
their
brought
own
something.
personal
That's
stuff.
always really nice.
So I couldn't get
when
home.
Was this?
That was literally yesterday.
How are you still walking?
It's in Dark Souls, eh? So I stay at my friend's house who lives in Randolph, by the way. So I was like 45 minutes away from here, and I just sleep on his couch, and he has a cat in the house. So I wake up to her paws like climbing up my leg, and then she like sleeps right on my hip.
Cute.
Aww.
And I'm like, and I was actually waking up. It was like 8:30. I'm waking up, and then as soon as I wake up, she's like crawling on my leg. I'm like, well, it looks like I'm staying here for a bit.
You've been chosen.
So I fell asleep again. I woke up around like 10:30, and I'm like, oh, okay. So I look at the time, grab my phone. I'm like, oh, my battery's about to die. I'm like, shit, I didn't bring my charger. So I just laid a little longer, think like, I should just get up and go now. I'm like, I'm laying here long enough. She must have noticed that I was awake, because then she comes back over to the couch, and she jumps on top of me and lays down again. And I'm like, are you putting me to sleep? And I fell asleep.
All right.
Cats will do that to you.
Cats,
So yeah.
yes.
They will.
And then I had to, so once I got up, finally left, I had to drive from Randolph to Lodi because I had a package delivered to my store, because I don't get packages delivered to my house. I get them delivered to the store. So I have a, technically it's like a $700 piece of equipment, but I got it for $400. It's the Uji, I think it's pronounced, is the drawing pad.
Okay.
So and it's the one with the screen. So I draw on the screen like a tablet.
the top not falling thing.
Yeah,
the
exactly. Yeah.
Ooh.
So instead of me doing the blank slate and drawing on that and just looking at Photoshop hoping that
Right.
it's lining up, I'll be actually drawing on the screen.
That's pretty cool.
Pinpress. So
Nice.
that's pretty much what I'll be working on this
I'm
week.
guessing you can cut some corners with that, right? Like instead of
Scanning and all that stuff,
all
I can
that
just
stuff,
straight I
right.
can just straight draw.
Oh,
stuff
that
now,
is
just
that
straight
is,
up draw.
that is great. Okay, right. So LaBeouf, he was drunk yesterday in the wedding. How was your weekend?
Oh,
You can top this easy. I know that.
No, it was pretty boring. Like I'm just doing like regular adulting, make sure my place is clean, and going food shopping, regular people stuff.
Adulting.
Adult.
Really dry stuff. I have a new job now or
Oh.
whatever. I'm a full-time graphic designer. Finally, it only took me like years after I graduated. It takes a while to get your foot in the door, so I'm pretty excited.
Okay.
It feels nice to be stable. It feels really nice to
Very
be
much.
stable.
Okay.
I love working in New York, so
New York, okay.
yeah. So it's really cool.
Having plans to might move to the big city soon.
Hey, if
That's the dream.
it's possible, because I couldn't do it when I was like a temp. You're
Yeah.
there for a couple months and then you're gone, and then you hopping off to the next gig. Now this is full time. It's like there's always that possibility.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. So we have one topic today. A couple of days ago, WonderCon happened. Now, for those of you who don't know what WonderCon is, it is the convention of all things DC Comics. I know last week you guys did Infinity War, which I assume it was an entire Marvel show.
It would turn into a Black Widow bashing, but
Please leave her alone. Come on.
Why won't they just leave us alone with her? Like, just, you know what I mean? Just take her out of the equation. No. Actually, no. I don't mean that. Actually,
I mean, before we go into the DC thing, do you guys think that Iron Man is the one who's gonna die?
I don't think he's gonna live. I think he's gonna live.
I don't think Captain America is gonna.
No,
I think he's
America
gonna live.
has to-
America's gonna die. I
Has
mean,
to,
he's
yeah.
gonna live. He's gonna live. Tony's gonna die.
Really?
The reason why I say
Ooh.
that because, and I think it
Interesting.
was it
Thor?
Civil War?
In Thor 2, they saw the vision of.
I know Iron Man saw the vision in the
Civil War.
Avengers.
Was it Civil War? What was that?
I think it was
What
Avengers
that?
2.
was
Yeah.
in
Avengers
Ultron,
2,
When
yeah.
right?
Scarlet Witch did her
Yeah.
thing, and he saw, I think, and he was like, "Oh, you could have helped us." And of course, you saw Cap there dying and whatnot
Yeah.
with his last breath. But I think Tony, being that he's the narcissistical asshole, pardon my French, he is gonna be the one who's gonna give his life for the team, and I think he's the one who's gonna die. Watch when the phone rings, you guys. I'm gonna pick that up because it's gonna. I called it. I'm telling you, he's gonna die. And of course, Vision, we all know he's gonna die, obviously as well.
He has
So,
to.
I think Cap is the one who's gonna survive. of all
I
things.
mean, it's not looking too good, fam. Like, like list we came up. I mean, unless Thanos is just playing with him. I mean,
because I know these trailers, Marvel know what they're doing. I think these trailers, they want you to
Misleading.
think
They want you
of
to think one
something,
thing.
and then they'll completely turn around. You know what I'm
okay,
saying?
misdirection. I mean, that's what
Yeah.
trailers supposed to do, really.
Yeah, I like
yeah, exactly.
Justice
yeah,
League.
Justice League.
Yeah. Yep.
BVS.
Shade intended. Like,
I saw that movie again, and it just gets worse every time I see it.
What?
It just gets while BVS becomes better and better every time I see it. I don't know why. Man. Because the CGI. That's the reason why. There's no
yeah.
Superman CGI Superman in that one. That's
Yeah.
why, so.
we get the
And the whole
full
car
exposure
insurance
with
thing.
Chin.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got memes for days from BVS. That's why that movie will always be good. to
Justice
us.
League brings pity. That's what it brings. It's not memes. I just feel sad.
Yo,
Yeah,
Justice League.
absolutely. Okay, so WonderCon happened a couple of days ago. All things DC Comics. The new news that are coming up. We have a couple of things that DC is implementing, and it's just more imprints, a
Yes.
bigger universe for all ages. Unlike Marvel, that Marvel
shake-up trash.
Marvel Comics. If you guys don't know what's happening in Marvel, they're pretty much doing a New 52 of Marvel again for like the 26th time this year.
It's not even an exaggeration either. I remember you shared in a group chat. It's like
Yep.
the 8th time they've changed in the last 6 years.
Yep. And I believe one of the guys, I think his name is Bendis, I believe it is. He's the one who went from Marvel into DC Comics. So bang bang Marvel, that's what you get, So whereas Marvel is making money, making bank on the cinematic side,
It'll
they're
fade.
They're lacking in the
they're
comics,
falling
though.
really big on the comic book side. of
Yes,
things,
big
right?
time.
While DC, they've been going strong since New 52.
Yeah.
And then DCU
Big
and
facts.
then Rebirth, and they're just going in. So what are we having? We're having DC Inc., DC Zoom, and my personal favorite, DC Black Label.
Which I looked into, and I'm fascinated.
I'm there. All right, so I'm sure we've seen the videos. What are your takes on? Start with DC Zoom and DC Inc. I know for a fact. I know they have a lot of similarities between the two because we know the DC Zoom is all about the newcomers, the little kids. I believe from
that's
5 to like 12.
I guess this is not my demographic, so
it's
I
not.
saw like the clips. I thought it was cute, but I was
Yeah.
like, okay, but you know what I mean? When I was 10 or 12, I don't think that would have appealed to me as much. I feel like it was a little too light for me personally.
Right.
Like I thought it was just really cutesy, and I was like, yeah, we were watching Batman Beyond when we were like 11 or 12.
Which is like
Yeah.
So I
at this
just
stage should
thought-
be DC Inc. if you will, because the DC Inc. is about the teenagers,
I
like
just
13 of 18.
didn't-
Yeah.
I didn't get it. Like I felt like a little like, am I too old? Like you know what I mean? I felt like a little like, okay, this is not for me.
Yeah.
Little kids enjoy.
Okay. So DC Zoom. Now, Mr. Aesop here. What do you think about DC trying to appeal to the younger audience with this DC Zoom imprint? I mean, again, they're also coming out with the DC Inc., which is for the young readers, and then DC Label, which we'll go into.
I kind of feel it's not necessary.
How come?
It's like, well, you think about comic books in general. As long as it's not heavy adult oriented like content in the pages, it's still appealing to kids anyway.
Okay.
So it's like to make it very specifically for an age group seems kind of
Unnecessary.
unnecessary. It's like, I mean, it's already something that's appealing to kids. I don't see why you would do something that targets it because now you're separating
You're
your
pandering.
audiences. Like you're very specifically separating your audiences now. So you almost limit yourself with your creativity, and at the same time, I feel like I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's like comparing Teen Titans to Teen Titans Go.
Yeah.
Like, why are you doing this? Like, it was
Yeah.
already enjoyable as it was. Why
Yeah.
did you cutesy it up? What's the cute?
Right.
Because I see the what is the superhero girls or whatever the hell it's called.
Which is part of the DC Zoom.
I know it is.
Yeah,
I sell the toys, so I'm like, anytime at first I thought it was just like a cute art style that they did from, and then I found out it was a show and all that. I'm like, this is feeling really My Little Pony.
Mm-hmm.
And that's good, yeah.
And that's what they're aching to. That's exactly what they're aching to.
Didn't resonate with me at all.
You know, now DC Inc. Now this is a little more forgivable in a sense because now we're going into the whole Teen Titans. Not the Teen Titans Go, but the original Teen Titans Cartoon Network run, which is what I consider DC Inc. is more geared towards the young teenagers, young adult audiences. Yeah. I assume from 13 to maybe 18 years old, if you will.
Pretty much the high school bracket.
Right. Now, here we'll see, I guess, new iterations of like Bruce when he was younger, like the whole Gotham aspect of things, So, again, going on the board, you think, being that this is the theme, is you think it's necessary. Now going into the ink side of things.
Ink things still don't think it's necessary. Mm-hmm. Like I said before, to categorizing and separating it.
Telling the same story.
It's the same thing, right? Okay.
It's like you just if you have a story idea, go with it. It can just be like the fact that they're all under a label. This is what's happening under this label. This is what's happening on that label. Can't you just make the content?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is what they say. All right, this is how they're justifying their behavior. Right, they're saying the first comic books created decades ago were for kids, and as the business evolved and matured, it became more focused on adult readers. DC Inc. and DC Zoom present an exciting new opportunity to grow our publishing business and ensure beloved stories built around iconic characters like Supes, Bats, and Wonder Woman are endeared as part of the fabric of childhood for years to come.
Now, I agree with that, actually.
When they say that, I'm like, okay. Because think about post Frank Miller versus everything that happened before him.
Right.
You know what I mean? He changed and then, the way we read things.
Even towards closer to the 2000 mark, it's the age that we know as the dark era of comics,
Everybody wants the gritty, style. So I could see why we're like, okay, we don't want to lose our 10 or 11-year-olds. We want to expand the market, so we're going to see how that works. It might flop. Who knows? You know what I mean? Maybe kids are going to read this dark stuff no matter what. 'Cause I feel like kids are way more mature than you think they are. They'll be able to. You'll be surprised what kids will be reading and stuff like that. When I was in high school, people carrying around like Watchmen and stuff like that, just heavy material. You know what I mean? Yeah. And people 16, 17 can relate to it and can read it and find it entertaining.
Now, let's be frank here. When comic books came out, the readers grew up with the material. The materials grew up with the.
They're trying to regress a little
bit. Exactly. So what they noticed, like, all right, those who are older now, they weren't, obviously there were kids way back when the material was a little more lighthearted. What happens when these older readers who were 10 years old at one point, who are now pushing 30 and have kids, and they want them to read new material comic books, are they going to read the same stuff that they're reading now as an adult? I guess on that aspect, this is makes sense.
Training wheels for DC readers.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly how they put it, too.
We didn't have any training wheels. They were just snatched off. Like, we got dove into the adult material. They're giving training wheels to younger readers, which is, like, fair.
So instead of doing another Marvel and be like, let's restart everything over from the very beginning.
We'll just take it. We'll just age it down. That's it.
But I mean, I also do understand is these kids are not as young as feeble-minded as you.
They got the internet, my family. Come on,
at their fingertips.
At their fingertips. They've seen things. It took me years. You know what I mean? Like being a little kid, we're so innocent. Yeah. These kids got horrible things at the press of a button.
One of my coworkers, her younger sister, is only like 11, and this is talking about like 3 years ago, as a matter of fact. So she's probably 14 now. But so when she was 11. She had 11 years old, had already read all of Death Note.
Unacceptable. Unacceptable.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Wow.
And you said read, so it's manga, so that means it's straight raw. It's not censored material.
Exactly. First of all, it's Japanese, so it's already like you're taking it.
Unacceptable, man. No way.
Wow, that kid's seen some stuff, man. Like that kid's seen some things.
And she's a fan of Invader Zim. She has a dark mind, obviously.
Wow.
But I mean, individuals like us are like, that's great parenting. Like, hey, read this kid, have fun,
Throw him in the pool, you know?
He'll swim. He'll learn how to swim eventually after drowning a couple of times.
Don't worry, the water won't bite. What do you mean? What's a stupid thing to say? It doesn't need to bite you. You drown in it.
I feel like this is good for parents who are like very helicopter parents. Like they want to control all the things their kids consume.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay,
Which is nothing wrong with that, mind you. It's nothing wrong.
There's nothing wrong with trying to like preserve their innocence for just a little while longer. But yeah, I guess being I'm not a parent or anything like that. I'm not 11 years old anymore, so it's like I'm like, okay, y'all could do that. We're gonna just be grown over here.
Yeah.
And y'all can keep that.
Right. Okay.
It's a worthy effort, and I see where they're going with. They're trying to expand their market.
Yeah.
It's
and
purely about like business.
It shows that DC is looking. DC is
care.
viewing. You
Totally.
know. Maybe it's a little more. You can focus on other things other than this that it's already been discussed. It's already been observed and scrutinized over and over and over again. Because in a couple of years this is gonna die down and they're gonna try to do it all over again, which it always happens.
Mm-hmm.
You know. But I'm a little more hopeful on the ink side rather than on the Zoom side.
Sure.
You know, less Little My Pony, more of a little edgy teenager stuff to get ready for the main
it's
storyline.
pretty much what we grew up with. Because it
Appetizers.
wasn't.
Yep.
I mean, they had mature topics, and like you called it. Sorry, you compared it to Teen Titans, was the perfect example.
Yep.
Yeah.
They have the mature topics that go on. You know, like Robin having his anger issues against Slade and things like that. So you can see like really serious episodes come in, and you have the growing up aspects where you have the friends who kind of betray each other. Like when Tara comes around, you can't trust that girl. Blackfire, you have sibling rivalry.
Yep.
You have parenting problems with Metatron and Raven. So like we saw like the really mature topics, but at the same these are Teen Titans. So when it wasn't the serious episodes, we had some of the best comedy you've ever seen, some of the tongue-in-cheek jokes all the time. It was like, oh well, bro, like, you can sit down in any Teen Titans episode and just enjoy it.
Yeah,
and you can
I
pretty
agree.
much be of any age. They're gonna deliver regardless.
Right.
And this is why I say
But
that
Teen Titans Go.
It was in the front. It's blasphemous.
It was bad. Yeah.
God, it's so bad.
But yeah, so okay,
it
so
tried to pander to its audience. That's why it was bad.
I've never watched not one episode of Go.
I
watched
saw clips and I was
maybe
like,
two.
oh, I can't.
Not
Like,
happening.
Not for me,
admittedly,
fam.
some of the episodes were funny, and I found that they would have been better off as fillers for the original series, like a Beast Boy, like
Look, yeah,
a
okay.
Beast Boy filler episode, like where like how he sees everybody, because that's what Teen Titans Go is allegedly supposed to be about, is like how Beast Boy sees everybody. That's why Robin's overly dramatic as a boss, and like
Makes
everyone's
sense.
who they are, but over the top and Go.
And it should have been in his.
And that's
point
how
of
his
view.
mind
Okay,
sees it,
that
yeah.
makes sense.
And that could have been an easy. Those could have been like a few filler episodes for like a Beast Boy theme.
And wasn't there like one of the episodes in Go where like they crossed over at one point?
The what is it? The
Go and the original. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've never seen
That's
the
just
episode.
like Young Justice.
Interesting.
That's
okay.
so the dissonance in that is kind of
Yeah.
jarring. Like,
And wasn't
Young
Young
Justice was pretty hardcore. Like,
wasn't Young Justice aired to be like a season 3 thing, or
Yes.
did it already come out?
I think it's gonna happen.
So
Not
they're
yet.
taking
It's gonna
their
happen
sweet
soon.
time with that.
When a DC streaming platform drops.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So
So all right. So we have our opinions on Zoom and we have
Yeah.
opinions on Ink. Now this is where it all comes together, and this is where I'm sure that you and I are very excited for.
This
and
is my
it's
happy day.
DC Black Label. Now we all know that. Okay, we have Zoom, we have Ink, then we have the mainstream DC universe, which is your regular Superman, Batman, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, your main storyline of DC. But now DC Black Label is all of your
faves.
favorite heroes. Would be
Hell
Batman,
yeah.
Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, doesn't matter what it is. Pushed by amazing artists, well known, like Frank Miller, like Scott Snyder, like Greg Capullo, making them in their own envisioned way, in their
Hell
own
yeah.
self-contained story, aside from the main DC continuity.
Mm-hmm.
That's what DC Black Label is. If you want to envision Joker as a woman, it's gonna happen.
Nice.
If you want to envision Batman dead and his grandson comes out and becomes the Batman, that's
can
gonna happen
happen.
too. It's just own self-contained titles and stories without the worry of continuity.
That's awesome because I feel like Black Label is made for me. Like, I feel like it was just made for readers like myself.
Yes.
And
I just need to see that Dick Grayson in SE string.
That can
Okay.
happen too.
It can happen.
in DC Black Label. For real. There's no holds bar there.
Okay, so there's one
Okay.
part that got me just as a graphic designer.
Uh-huh.
They're gonna release a new logo for this.
Yes, it looks
And I'm
good.
like, they heard me. Because I bashed Rebirth's logo so bad because it's such an ugly, like clunky. The serifs are like, ugh. You know what I mean? Like, and they heard me.
Your graphic designer showing.
And it's like, I feel like they're just in my, like, Tia, we got you, man. We heard you. We heard your criticism. You know, we fired the other designer. You know what I mean? I'm not saying, well, whoever okayed it, I don't know. They probably just, like, slapped it on. But just, like, fun fact, the firm that made, like, Justice League's, like, Unite the Seven was a big global agency called Pentagram. And they actually created, which is weird because I think Justice League's look like type wise looks so much better than the logo for the actual comics, which is weird. You know what I mean? This is print. This is print. You know what I mean? Like you should be aware of that kind of stuff. So that got me hyped. I was excited. I can't wait to see what they do because, you know, just geeking out about design stuff and everything like that. I can't wait till they reveal it.
I mean, I can appreciate a good logo. You know?
Yeah, you know what I mean? So
little things get you excited like that.
Yeah, it's the little things for me. And like the Rebirth logo just took me out of it. Oh,
I can imagine.
Design blocks were trashing it heavy too. Like it got that, but you know it's bad when people are starting to write about it and put thought pieces as to why it sucks.
They were writing about how bad the logo was.
Yes,
no way.
They're design blogs. Yeah, they're who examine it and
People
tell you,
will
and they'll
complain
tell you
about
why it's
any and
bad. And they were
everything.
right. It's bad. It's bad.
It's trash.
And I always like DC's like evolution of their logo. Like the '90s had the little stars around it.
Yeah, that was a way back when.
And I always liked New 52's like
it was
peeling,
good though. New 52 was
that
good.
D peeling off the C.
I
I
loved
was
it.
just like,
And then they
"That's
screwed
cute."
up when like again Rebirth came around. They
And
just
just
screwed up.
threw the whole logo away.
But what I do
got me
like,
tight,
what I
yo.
do like about now though, just because how they have a brand new logo.
Yeah.
Every single combo, let's say we're reading a Batman one, they have the Batman insignia under the logo, or the Superman, they have the Superman insignia under the logo. And as it goes on with Wonder Woman and Aquaman, which is pretty darn cool.
Consistency.
Yes, that's pretty darn
let these
cool.
logos live. It's really nice. But Black Label, what I always liked about it was my biggest complaint about big companies like DC and Marvel is that they're so built on legacy and continuing where they left off and continuing where they left off.
Yeah.
In DC, they actually what they did with Black Label is that they're hiring people who I recognize from Image Comics. I'm recognizing names.
Yes, indeed.
They're speaking to me now. They're speaking my language now, and I'm here for it.
Absolutely.
They got
man.
my girl from Bitch Planet and everything who's writing for Wonder Woman now, and I'm just like,
Yes.
this is where you need to live at. Not in DC's like, you know, vanilla. You need to be DC Black.
Yes.
You, know, you
Yes.
need to live here where you can do whatever you want. I'm like tugging at my heartstrings.
And they can
DC.
do this with Black, you know.
They can
It's-
do it. They can do.
They're not
anything.
limited to the continuity. at all,
Yes, and that's
which
the
is good.
beauty of it, because they're looking at the success of the Killing Joke, look at the success of those standalone
The Killing Joke, the Batman Returns.
Yes, and they're
all that. Yeah.
they established that canon. So we're gonna go back to the exciting, you know. Hey,
Watchmen was one of the things that they also mentioned as well, which is a
Yeah.
standalone and huge success off of that.
So
V
yeah,
for Vendetta, stuff like that, and they realized that these are standalone stories that sold really well.
yeah.
So they want to continue that success. By all means.
And you know what? Admittedly, I was like, this is gonna be DC. I thought DC was out of tricks, and they're not. They really just pull it out, and they're just showing you why you should be reading Marvel.
No.
They're really showing you why you should not be paying attention to Marvel at all.
And if there's anything to doubt that, read Metal, the last issue that came out. We're gonna speak about that probably next week once we get up to date when we let people read
totally.
it.
Yeah,
Something that we will talk about next
DC Metal
week.
Part 2 episode.
Yes. But yeah, read Metal, new DC imprints.
Yeah.
We have the upcoming Superman issue 1000, the return of the damn underwears.
Oh.
You know, it's crazy. But yeah, today's Easter, right?
Yes.
Space Jesus. Right? Talk about Space Jesus. The return of the.
You're being welcomed back.
Hey, thank you. Ha, the De Leon. How
Yeah.
you doing? I am so jealous of that last name, let me tell you.
I know you've been jealous since we met. Like about my last name.
The salt is real. Anyway. But yeah, so Black Label, man, you know, I'm excited for this. What I'm hoping for is horror stories. I'm hoping for horror stories and more geared to the Green Lantern side of things because it's space. And then more geared to the Aquaman side of things because you guys know my fear of the damn ocean.
Yes.
So, you know, I'm
Yes,
looking
you
for
do.
things like that, more horror stories. And go figure, the first Batman story that's going to be in Black Label is going to be a horror story based around the Joker.
More stuff to make you crawl inside your own asshole.
Exactly. So that's what I'm looking for. Black Label, be black, be dark.
Yeah.
You know, drop an F-bomb if you have to. Show gore if you have to. Do what you gotta do.
Yeah, like,
you know,
I
it's
feel like
black
it's a
for a
place
reason.
to vent at. I feel like
vent,
for like I really respect it. I respect that they're and you know what? In general, I respect DC because even when New 52 is getting trashed and everything, like they stuck to it.
But yeah, because they were
And
making more
finished-
money with
they-
Marvel.
They didn't just, we're just gonna reboot it again, you know, to please you guys. No. We're committed to our artists. We're committed to our stories. We're committed to the writers. We're gonna stick to it, and we're gonna do exactly the 6-7 years that we committed to. Marvel hasn't been doing that. They have been committed to their authors and writers, and that's why Brian, Michael Bendis left because they're not committed to them.
I believe it was
Could you
Michael. It
imagine?
was Michael Bendis that left.
Yes.
Right? Was him? Okay.
Yes, and like,
And he's working on Superman now too.
go figure, man. He went like straight for Big Blue. Like, it's like, nah, we're tired. Could you imagine as an artist or a writer spending all this time with your story,
just so that
just to be told like, oh, by the way, we're not even continuing it.
Yeah, we're just gonna do something new.
We're doing something new.
That would piss anyone off, and it's
That
pissing off the readers because of it.
Yeah, no doubt.
And new readers can't penetrate all these different, levels that
Like
are going to become obsolete.
The hardest thing about getting into comics is because there's so many
So
different
many.
movies. That's
Exactly. You're
already
making
a
it
problem.
harder.
So when you just keep resetting things, it's like, where the hell does anyone even start? What's worth reading? What matters? Like, we just had this is talking about Warcraft. Look at me going to that again. They just I deal with that with Warcraft a lot because they keep retconning stuff. It's like, why do you build up this storyline and build up these characters
Just
and
to
then
erase it.
And they have to rewrite the stories and alternate things, and it changes everything that the story is built on. Like, there's this one character who she's an assassin, and the only reason she does her assassinations is to protect her son. But they made in the books they made her son way too powerful. So what they did is they just put him on another planet to say he's training just to get him out the story. And now they're like, you know what, Medan never existed. But they put the guy who was training him in one of the order halls in the game. But I'm like, so if Medan's not canon, why is Meryl here? Meryl, his whole story was pretty much built off of Medan, but you just removed that character, so you have to rewrite him. It's like
a domino loop that you have to.
It's like so you have to go back
to this. Yeah,
it's like we do time looping in Warcraft, but we are on an official timeline. It's not like we're not future trunksing. We're like one timeline he's got purple hair, another timeline he's got blue hair. Like who is this Trunks? What is he fighting for?
What are you fighting for?
So I mean, but see, and I like that you bring that up because DC see that. Again, this is the reason when the New 52 came about. Because and it makes sense because we're pushing of 1,000 issues of Superman.
Yes.
So they were like, all right, hold up, guys. We've been in the game longer than Marvel has. I mean, officially Marvel, because Marvel's been around for just as long.
Under a different name. Yeah.
Right. So they had a retcon to New 52, and they realized they were losing. Ironically enough, they were losing readers, but they were still making more money than Marvel when the New 52 came out. I don't know how that happens, but it happened for 5 years straight, mind you. Right. So then, they decided, let's put everything together. They weren't doing as much as Marvel, but then the whole Doomsday thing came out, and the Dark Metal came out, and that just blew up everything.
Oh yeah.
So DC listens. DC listens.
They care.
If anything, DC listens.
Yeah.
DCU, the cinematic universe, I don't know too much about that.
We don't know her. We don't know her.
The cinematic universe of DC needs to be the Black Label cinematic universe.
Yeah.
Self-contained stories with no continuity at all.
Yeah, just have fun. Go
straight
at it.
Watchmen again. Wait, straight V for Vendetta, which is interesting because that's the reason why DC Comics are doing what they're doing, because of the success of Watchmen and V for Vendetta.
Yeah.
Now, if you look for the cinematic universe, Watchmen and V for Vendetta did really good as well. Like,
That's
hello.
crazy,
V is extremely
right?
iconic.
Like it's
2 and 2 plus 4. You know what I mean? Like,
if it happens in the comics and if it happens in the cinematic universe, time for you to look peer over a little bit at what you're based off to see what works. So.
Oh, and speaking of metal or what have you, I watched a video of Scott Snyder just gushing about it. Like he's just like he's clearly proud of his work, and he said like he considers this his magnus opus. Like he said that if I don't ever write again, if this is successful, I am happy with everything. He said he feels like this was the best thing he's ever written, and that's saying something. Scott Snyder's come out with some bangers like over like years and years of work. He said this is one of his favorite.
See, before that was the death of a family.
Killed, yeah.
With the Joker with his skin, that was like masterpiece.
Yeah,
because he reinvented the Joker into the horror freak show we
the
known today.
And
and then he tops that,
guys, like
with this
endless well of creativity. I have to say,
by with good reason. It's one of the. I know for a fact with any reader that comes into, I will give him the big pile of DC metal. It's like the first thing you should read is this.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be, but here you go.
Shouldn't
anyway.
be, but here you go.
But anyway,
you'll
you want a good read?
There
you
if this
go.
doesn't hook you in, nothing will.
For real.
Exactly my
Seriously.
point.
And he's so along the lines. I don't know. You've probably because you're caught up with the most recent issue, and they're saying that the events occurring are going to affect the DC universe irrevocably.
Oh yeah,
because this is not just even just an event either. This isn't just contain. It's going to permeate all of DC universe. It's going to expand it in a way where I thought, I'm surprised. I thought it was going to be just an event. It happened, contained. We're done. We're going to go off, and now it's actually going to affect things.
With the little spoilers of next week, hopefully, since we were going to talk about it next week, there's the Hall of Justice coming back. The original Hall of Justice, the Justice League. Martian Manhunter's been already inducted. So is Hawkgirl and Hawkman as well. The Legion of Doom is coming back. Justice League Dark is coming back with Wonder Woman being the leader of Justice League Dark, and Darkseid is going to be a part of the crew too. Think about it. Yep. You think this is great? No, this is happening, people. It is happening.
Yeah.
You know.
That's crazy.
And then you have new heroes. You have Rampage. You have Silencer. You have the Immortal Men coming out. You have Plastic Man and the Terrifics are coming out, all because of Dark Metal. It's only because of that. And then you have, which is my personal favorite, the Sandman universe coming out too.
Right, no, that's your thing.
Four extra books. It's gonna be. I can die happy. That's all I gotta say.
And DC's hitting it on all fronts too with their comics. Like they're releasing new stuff. They're bringing back the old characters. They're releasing new characters. That's bold for a legacy company like DC. They can rely on their bread and butter forever. Yeah, but they're not. They're like, okay, we're gonna bring new guys. We're gonna bring new characters. We're gonna bring old characters.
You get fatigued too with the old characters. You gotta add new flavor no matter what.
And this is why they're doing what they're doing. Yeah, this is why they're adding new characters to the mix. Oh yeah, new characters to the mix. I'm glad
they're doing it. It's a worthy risk. I would do it.
I feel like DC, they have a basket and they have a lot of eggs in that basket, and I just feel like they're just like little by little, giving it little, and it's working. It's working a lot because at one point we're like, the Watchmen thing, is the entire year. It's gonna get old. I'm pretty sure at the end of the whole year they're gonna release the whole Doomsday thing, and they did because we were talking about it. Like, okay, they're gonna get tired, and that's gonna release Doomsday. They did. They realized we were getting stale. They're like, oh, we're waiting for the Doomsday. It happened, and then they shut out with Metal at the same exact time. Mind you, Doomsday was advertised more than Metal ever was. So when Doomsday came out and Metal came out, Metal became the big commodity, was the more mainstream, hit harder.
More talked about.
Right.
Like that.
Now, mind you, Doomsday is only on chapter 4. It's a 12 issue thing. It's going to run for an entire year.
Yeah.
Chapter 4 and the Metal has ended. The entire journey of Metal was ridiculous. It was explosive. Now we can slowly just jump onto Doomsday Clock and see what happens with the Watchmen while all this new stuff is happening on the side.
Right.
DC knows their audience and they're going little by little, but at the same time at such an alarming rate, we just don't know what to do with ourselves.
Yeah.
Well, Marvel is just still like,
they don't know what they're doing themselves right now.
They don't. It
feels I feel like they're trying to
be trendy.
Yeah.
They're trying to keep up with their cinematic universe.
Yeah, that's literally.
I'm sorry, I mean
that's exactly what I was getting at.
And the funny thing about it, I feel like DC is putting on the gas because of the cinematic universe. Because they know how bad the cinematic universe can affect them, so they're putting on the gas to be like, because in the beginning of WonderCon, they could not stress enough how special and how comic book versed this con will be. Nothing to do with the cinematic universe. The only cinematic thing, if I could call it cinematic, that they had incorporated was Krypton.
Oh, right, the show. Right. Yes.
The sci-fi. Right. And if my understanding is the only thing that has a continuity in terms of series to movies,
that's sad.
That is the Man of Steel.
Oh, right.
They're doing a Marvel thing with that. So, and I'm sure they're doing that because it hasn't come out yet. I'm not sure if it's already come out, but there's no general consensus of how good it is yet.
Yeah, the first episode just released. First for Krypton, yeah, it premiered already. Okay. And I don't watch TV like that.
Neither do I.
It's just God.
Neither do I.
Just honestly, I know it's not. I don't know. Maybe it's a generational thing, but I just don't see myself turning on the TV at 8 o'clock to watch anything. I just Netflix or Hulu or whatever. God damn.
People who don't have it's weird. It's like I don't really people who are. I'm in a mix for words here, like because it's not necessarily like a lazy thing, but it's not necessarily like being busy or anything like that. It's just like it's part of a routine when you get home from like work or something to just sit down and turn on the tube and just ignore the world.
Yeah.
We are from that. We're a group of people where we don't have time to just sit and not do anything.
Yeah.
We always. That's why if something's on the internet, because we're multitasking. We're not just gonna turn on a tube and let it go. If the TV's on, it's probably a movie playing or something that because we're working on something else that we need in the background. We don't have time to just sit down and focus on a show really.
Unless we're in our theaters, which is a whole different ball game, right?
Yeah.
I mean, hence how I watched Game of Thrones last season. We watched it here on a big screen, turned off the lights, had a beer. Like I turned it into an event. You know, it wasn't just I'm just gonna watch the show. Like I turned it into an event because. I don't know. I just can't. I need to do something else. So like I gotta almost you have to trick your brain into watching TV now because it's just so unnatural. It feels like you could be doing more.
Yeah.
I really
I
hate
agree.
the feeling of like commercials and things like
I
that.
hate
It's so
commercials.
distracting.
Remember when we used to give, we used to watch The Walking Dead once upon a time?
Yeah.
And I remember one time you came out of my house one time, we sat and we watched it.
Yeah.
I could only do that if you were there.
Yeah.
Like, I just got no attention span anymore. It's I hate commercials. I hate being I hate breaking up the plot into these.
Especially
you know what I mean?
with shows that we watch now are so intricate, you get immersed into the world, if you will. Like you kind of like dive into it once you sit down, you got comfortable. Okay, we're in the heat of this moment. If it's not a shitty episode, that it is. And then a commercial comes on. You're instantly taken out of that world.
Exactly. AMC presents Fear the Walking Dead.
And
What?
Suspension of disbelief.
Yeah,
you literally broke your
yeah.
snap back to reality, and I'm like, well, let me go like beat my meat or something. Like I like, what am I supposed to do now? Like, so that's why I can't watch TV because I was like I told you, go back and watch old Supernatural, and so I watched it on. Well, the first 3 seasons are so good. Trust me, they're so.
I
good.
remember. I loved it.
Don't watch Beyond 5, but I was watching that like 'cause I was like, let me go watch old seasons to see why I fell in love with the show and justify my hatred that I have for it now. And I'm like, I binged watched the whole first season because it was so good. I was like doodling on a computer or whatever, but I couldn't turn away. Like I couldn't finish my sketch because I was so wrapped in the world and I didn't get commercials.
Oh,
Exactly.
You know, it warped me into it. Whereas now,
commercial every 10 minutes.
like put it on
Yeah.
Netflix.
And it's annoying.
Just put it on Netflix, please.
Because Krypton,
I can watch it on my
Black
own.
Lightning,
That's another thing too, because we have to follow a schedule to watch it.
Yeah.
And that's annoying being told when I'm supposed to watch something.
Exactly.
That's mad
annoying.
annoying.
That's
Don't
like-
tell me when to
that's why I
watch
don't-
this. I'll
that's
watch
why-
it when I feel like
That's why I
watching
have trouble sticking with wrestling because I don't have the WWE network. So it's like I gotta watch it at a certain time, and I'm like I don't got time for this. Like I got meat to beat. Like I got YouTube channels to run. Like I got stuff to do. Like I can't watch this on your time.
It's annoying.
I'm your viewer. You're getting paid for my views. Give it on my time.
absolutely.
It's an old school way
Yeah.
of television. I feel like it's being phased out over time. It's gonna take maybe I would love to see what TV's like 10 years from now.
Yeah.
Are they still gonna be doing this?
I want. Okay, they.
I mean, this is why now they have apps for stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They have like you have the HBO Go. Yeah, I can't be on. But I have
That's
the
how I
apps
watch. Yeah,
that
that's how I watch
record
Game of
stuff,
Thrones.
that-
Yeah,
well, you know, they're trying to.
It's
accommodate the viewers,
released
but
at the
still.
time like
Yeah.
9 o'clock, but I could watch it anytime.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would prefer that. And then you've got DC has Black Lightning that's doing well. Krypton we'll see.
Yeah,
I would love to support their TV, but bruh, like.
I mean, their TV
I
are
ain't
doing
got-
good. I
it's
suppose.
doing well. I hate
but
Gotham, but regardless,
I could say that at least when it comes to
Yeah.
Marvel and DC, their shows are
good.
solid.
Yeah, definitely.
you know what? They're
Definitely.
actually DC can
They're
compete
literally
TV-wise.
Yep.
they're
Yep.
They can compete.
legitimately like
Yep.
solid shows on both ends.
Yeah, like
and then you have the animated
ha-
series, which DC is just being
knocking out the park.
with Batman Gaslight that just came out not too long ago.
I need
and
to
they're
watch that.
and they're coming out with the new Suicide Squad movie, which is animated, which is
Give 'em
it looks-
hell
it's
or
pretty-
something
yeah.
like that. Is it?
And then they're also coming out with the Death of Superman, which is, my opinion, I never thought I would see the light of day of when that movie
Right.
comes out.
Mhm.
So they're
Yeah, DC's
They're
always
working
been
it.
consistent.
they have to.
DC animated wise has always been fairly consistent.
right,
Like
right,
they,
right.
it's
When it
rarely
comes
they
to-
flop hard.
The only animated stuff that I see, because I'm a Marvel boy, the only animated stuff from Marvel that I truly ignoring the classics, because obviously those were
X-Men,
Phenomenal.
through the
Spider
roof.
Man.
Those are through the roof. But
Yeah.
like more like after like 2006 ish, it's like
dry.
like okay, this is boring me. Like there's nothing interesting happening. It's like kind of, it's like we were saying, it's stale material. It's like
Yeah.
it's not necessarily bad as in this was
Forgettable.
poorly animated. It's exactly, it doesn't leave a mark. It's
Yeah.
to this day I still quote like Thor and Loki Blood Brothers.
Mhm.
It's like it's something that's got to leave a mark because there's a very interesting art style. It was a world that we rarely get to see because I'm tired of Captain America. I'm tired of
Yeah.
Iron Man.
Yeah.
We've got 50 Spider-Mans out there. We got 50 Batmans out of there. Let them dudes die.
Which I'm sure they're also coming out with the new movie that's coming out in the theaters with
Yeah.
Miles Morales.
Miles Morales.
Which
They
is
have
awesome.
that as well.
They're saying like, give us a new flavor. Give us these characters who, because that's the one thing.
Oh man.
Here we go.
That's the one thing I hate about legacy stuff. Like you have a whole world that you've created under your logo, label, however you want to call it. They don't need to bring in new characters. Pull these side characters up.
Yeah.
Like, because you were just saying they just created new heroes for DC. I'm like, well, yeah, they could have been done this, but we're too busy writing the Trinity all the time. Like, put them 6 feet under. Like, Martian
them on
Manhunter,
ice.
put him
Now,
in.
now
Yeah,
mind you,
put 'em on
I'm
ice.
loving that you
Yeah.
said that. Now, mind you, since New 52, they've had things like that, like Earth 2. The Trinity died in the first 2 pages. They died the first 2 pages, and the main characters were Flash, Hawkgirl, Swamp Thing.
Interesting.
You know, that was his Earth suit. That was an entire 40 issues run on that.
Wow.
No Trinity at all. And then you have New 52, where they killed off the Batman and Gordon stepped up to the plate. You know, Superman lost his powers. Wonder Woman became the God of War. You know, things like that. Now they have new characters, new heroes, right? But now at the same time, they're also pushing the known characters like Plastic Man. Like Raven has her own standalone comic. Cyborg has her own standalone
time
comic.
out. Raven has her own standalone
They've
comic.
been for a while now.
I feel like I missed out here.
They
Like,
have Etrigan. Etrigan has a standalone comic.
Oh, wow.
You know, things.
So DC's
and they're,
doing it.
They're doing it because they realize, the main continuity is cool and all, but here are the side characters that you
shit
guys
gets
don't
boring.
read.
That shit
Santana
gets
has an
boring.
own thing.
That's
Mystic University, which is amazing. You know, so like they're pushing it. So I'm really glad that you said that because DC is throwing out these issues, these heroes that we don't really know were out until you go to a comic book shop. Like, wow, this, like you said, Raven has a thing. I think she's like issue 14 right now. Oh yeah, they're going in. They're going in.
Yeah, 'cause
Mara
like
has
when-
a new comic too by herself. She's the Queen of Atlantis.
I mean, hell, that's like when I got when I came across the Cycle of Life, Poison Ivy, her having her own story.
Oh, that's fun.
So I was like,
that was
I'd
great.
read that.
That was amazing.
Oh yeah, that's
That
what
was amazing. Yeah.
DC's big on character study. They
Yeah.
love immersing you into the character's brain and their mythos and how they operate, their moral standards. They love doing it. And I'm not saying I read a ton of Marvel, but when I do with Marvel, they're so team oriented, it bothers me. It's all these characters in this one panel, and I'm like, oh my god, give me a break.
yeah, everything's a team. You got the X-Men, Defenders, Avengers. It's like, can somebody be by themselves?
DC only has Justice League, unfortunately.
It's like,
The only
Everything
one that
Justice
I've
League.
ever read from
and
Marvel.
the only problem with Justice League is because they're all titans. Like, they're all powerful characters. So
Yeah.
you having these like god killers working together. It's like, why?
Y'all all don't really
Like,
need each
While
other like
while
that.
DC, you have the kid, Robin and Superboy are teaming up. That's it, Superboys. You know, then you have
It was
DC
cute,
on that
and
side.
I read it.
I mean,
It was
because I
kinda
think that's
cute.
why Teen Titans is so successful because
Mhm.
it was another group that was desperately needed under DC, and they weren't, like, I call them god killers. You know,
Yeah,
they're not
yeah.
super powered, ironically called Titans, but they're really not. They're just they're actually understandable, grounded heroes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You know,
Their
whereas
powers has clear perimeters to their powers.
where you go and then in Marvel we have like everyone's gangs in New York. Like it's like, damn, everybody squatted up. Like
Yeah.
nobody fight fair in
Tim's
this
and
side. Like
everyone has Tim's. Everyone
everybody
has New
squat.
York
Like that's why I was
Yankee
reading
Fitteds
when I
and
was
stuff.
reading Miss Marvel. I'm like, I like this because she's alone. She's trying to be an Avenger. She's trying to be like Captain Marvel. That's why she went with the name. But she's doing it all by herself, while still trying to hold the, I have a real life. I gotta like be in. I gotta go to school tomorrow. I gotta take out this laundry. It's like, you know what? This is bringing me back to when I first started reading like Spider-Man, and that's why I got that feeling. And I don't. She it had that homecoming feel because she was saved by Captain Marvel. Was annoying. Like, no, do your own story. Stop,
Yeah, you
stop
don't need to
talking
be
Iron
saved.
Man. Stop talking to Captain Marvel. Like, do your own stuff.
Yeah, totally.
Because that's why I hated Homecoming, because it was, I want to be an Avenger, Tony Stark and all that. It's like that.
You guys know
that-
my gripe about that.
Oh yeah, we had a whole episode about. I remember that episode. I sat there like, wow, a lot
Yeah,
of feelings
man.
in this room right now.
Yeah, man. So
You
yeah,
had to sweep out the salt. You know what I mean? Like, you guys were upset.
It was ridiculous.
But yeah, I do prefer a little more alone time with my characters too, because that's where it gets
Yeah.
hard. Like you just said, it's hard to get into the character's head when they're constantly with people.
Because the plot is being driven by the action and not
Yeah.
by how they feel, what they think, or their whatever, all
Their
their
moral
personality
code and
traits.
judgment,
Yeah,
you know,
like we
like-
don't get to know that. They just gotta save the day. Here's my team. Let's go do it.
Because even if it's a
But why
bunch
are
of
you doing
people, you can tell the story in pieces, in that it forms the story at the end. Like prime example, look how George R. Martin does Game of Thrones. Like Arya, the little girl, could have had her own spin-off, because every time she went to a new place, she pretty much had one-on-one with every enemy. Like she made friends out of people who were legitimately her enemies. And it's like, I could just watch Game of Thrones for Arya alone, and
Yes.
it would still be an interesting story.
Yeah.
I could have watched Tyrion Lannister and just, that's a story on its own.
Right.
Fair.
Daenerys is boring as hell,
Tyrion.
but like, you know, she is her own story.
She's a little stale. I'll
She's
admit.
stale as hell until the end of the season. That's
It's-
how every season goes with her. She's boring. Last episode, gotta get naked and set myself on fire.
Because she needs to show that there's a development at the end
Yeah.
of every
She does something
season,
so
of course.
extreme that you
and
forget that
then
she
you
was
actually
boring
see
for
her
like 10
growth.
episodes.
Progression,
For her
exactly.
story's slow, but you will obviously see the growth.
Yeah, I think when it
I
comes,
don't get to
go ahead.
see the growth in my Marvel.
Yeah.
I don't
And-
get to see
and
the growth anymore.
See, and now bringing it back home to the DC, the beginning of Rebirth, that's something that they mentioned. Whereas New 52 was all about crossovers, always and more than one. Rebirth was like not anymore. It's the only crossover you'll ever see if you just want to pick up a Justice League comic book. Other than that, you read a Mara, you read a Aquaman, you read a Superman or Batman, and it's going to be contained. No other characters will cross over to their comic book.
That's why, like, Lantern, he was completely
away.
And that's what DC wanted to do. That was like the biggest standpoint on Rebirth, and they're doing it pretty strong. And then of course they notice what they're doing, and then they realize they're releasing new heroes, and they're releasing the lower end of heroes. You know, like for God's sakes, Mr. Terrific is getting his own damn comic book. Like
what a random character.
Booster Gold is coming out with their own comic book, and he's doing pretty well in Superman, mind you. I will admit, he comes in as Superman, and it was an initiation to his comic book. And I gotta say, I hate Booster Gold.
Your boo thing getting.
But let me tell you,
your boo thing, huh? your bay, huh?
Oh my gosh, we don't talk about trash here.
Booster Bay.
Booster Bay. But speaking of Superman, I believe is next week. I believe we're gonna get hit by one of the biggest milestone in all comics, whether it be Marvel, Image, Dark Horse, whatever company that you're associated with, and that'll be whether you like them or you hate them. It'll be Superman issue 1000.
That's an incredible number to think about. The gravity of that.
Huge. I don't think The Walking Dead is not even close to those numbers.
Oh no.
And Walking Dead has been around for a minute.
Spawn's not even close to those numbers.
Not even close to those numbers.
Spawn's been around since
he was around when I was born.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's still not even close.
Right. And this, mind you, this is happening next week because there was a break for 5 years, which is the New 52.
Right.
All right. If not, that would have been 5
sooner.
years. That would have been 5 years ago.
It would have been a time ago.
So next week will be that. That's going to be the biggest momentous next to the death of Superman and back in the 1990s.
Wow.
Because I remember when that happened, I don't think I was even born. It was like early or late 90s. They actually have newspaper articles about that.
Oh, it was a big deal.
Huge deal. And it's rumored that they're bringing back the underwear. They're bringing back the underwear.
Oh.
They're bringing back the underwear. The return of the underwear. Yeah. You know, I'm okay with Big Blue with underwear. Just don't give Batman his underwear back.
Oh, no. We can't regress that far back. Oh, nah.
So, yeah, that's happening, and it's going to be a huge celebration. Big Blue is turning 1,000.
That's crazy,
so,
dude.
Yeah.
What 1,000?
I just think about all the arcs, all the artists, all the writers that get to this point. It's like, it's historical.
Yeah.
I can only, and you could read Superman for like a year straight. You couldn't even fathom catching up to 1,000 issues. It's like this whole room could be filled with 1,000 issues of Superman,
and still have more,
and still would be brimming to this, would fit into the hole. Like it would just go straight to the ceiling. It would be obnoxious.
Yeah. I see Marvin looking around the room like, oh, this is crazy.
It will fill his whole room up.
Yeah.
I remember when we had David Crownton as our interview, and he talked so lovingly about Superman and about how about Death of Superman and all stuff. The first thing he read, and he changed my mind just a little bit how I felt about Superman. I think Superman's full of shit sometimes.
Well, I mean, because he is full of shit. He is.
Most of the time.
Most of the time?
Most of the time he was full of shit. He made me look at him in a different kind of way. Like he had a very specific experience with Superman while he's this hopeful figure and what he stands for and all that type of stuff. His personality, he doesn't always have to be corny. You know what I mean? He's been cool under different lights. He's been a down-to-earth country guy depending on who's writing him. So my introduction to Superman, he got too corny for me. You know what I mean? So I was like, oh, okay, I see why you would appreciate this character so much, but please don't give this man red underwear. That's all that I ask.
They're bringing it back. They're bringing it back. And you know who's bringing it back? The guy coming from Marvel. Bendis.
So you came over here to take an L, huh?
Oh, man.
You came all the way over here just to take an L, huh?
It's funny because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is going to be his first writing into Superman. Is Superman 1000.
Oh, he's straight
what a huge pressure on this guy.
Oh, yeah.
From Marvel, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not jealous, to be honest with you.
So, yeah.
But he went big, huh? Like,
he's
dude,
big.
Your first DC comic, Superman. No big deal. I can handle this. 1,000. Yeah, we're only about 1,000 issues, and it's been like, I've been around since 1935. But I can do it. I can do this. I can handle this. I'm gonna give him back his red underwear. Everyone will love me.
Yeah. And DC in the panel WonderCon, they understood this. They were mentioning, if they know they're gonna have a lot of backlash, but they're gonna have a lot of humorous comments with that.
I think it's gonna be polarized. It's gonna be split. Right, people who are for
ever
it,
since
who are
New 52. Like it's gonna be just as polarizing as
that's
New
gonna
52.
be it. This is gonna be the deciding factor.
Surprisingly enough,
These red speedos, you just guys can't let go. Oh my god.
It's such a goofy look.
it is.
I don't know
Superman's
why
already
that was
goofy
ever a
kind of
trend.
in general.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Bright colors,
Yeah.
primary colors, red, blue, and yellow. It's loud in itself. You're gonna slap underwear on top of it?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I thought we could agree on something. You know what I mean? That this underwear is a little
I mean,
too dated.
well, I
Bring
mean-
the personality back. Don't get me wrong. He can be bubbly and fun as he want to be,
Mm.
but put the underwear back into the drawer.
In
Where it
defense,
belongs.
to all this, for all intents and purposes, the not wearing underwear Superman died, which was the New 52.
True.
He died
That's right.
at the beginning of Rebirth.
Yeah,
he
like,
died. This is
fucking
space
Space
this
cancer
Superman,
or whatever
yeah.
he had.
This Clark Kent that we have now is the one that was before New 52,
I
which
understand.
which had the underwear to begin with.
That's fair.
So I mean, in defense to that, sure. Am I happy about it? Not in the slightest.
Yeah, it's a
Not at
little-
all.
We're not going to start wearing shoulder pads, and you know what I mean. And we don't have to bring everything back from the '80s. You know what I mean. We don't have to bring all. We can bring the personality, sure. Bring his little truth, justice, and
American
whatever,
way.
an American way, sure. You guys want to eat that up? Go for it. But gosh, leave the fashion choices back. Like, leave it back where it came from. Like,
Now next year on this time, approximately,
yes.
Batman's gonna hit his 1,000 one.
Oh, that's gonna be fire.
Now I'm telling you, man, if they give him back his trunks, I'm done reading comics for the rest of my life. I'm dead
Oh my
I'm
God.
dead ass B.
It's gonna definitely be paying homage to Adam West. He's gonna get the blue cow, and
Oh,
he'll be officially in a detective again, but he's gonna do things in the daytime.
I'm done reading
holy
comics.
macaroni, Robin! Like, that's what
Holy
you said.
Detective Squares, Robin. No, had the little red hotline phone
I'm
audio.
fascinated what they're gonna do. I'm legitimately if they're looking retro for Superman, I don't even know what retro for Batman's gonna
They
look
can't
like.
do that to him.
Ugh,
They can't do that.
can't
to
do
him.
my man's like that.
If they went back to really old Batman,
It's still pretty.
he would still be pretty dark because he was supposed to be polar opposite of Superman.
Yeah.
I mean,
Always
he hung
has.
somebody from the Batwing.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm actually okay with that one. That was a scary looking Batman. You almost never really saw him. All you just saw was the glowing eyes and the cape.
Because
Like,
80s Batman was more
He
of
was
a monster.
he was what you
anyway.
love, horror movies. Yeah, he wasn't a
He was a
monster, but he was a dick.
he was definitely not a likable dude at all.
Yeah,
and if you
he-
think about 80s Batman, that's when they were getting gritty anyway.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
going down that route anyway. It was already a thing.
Yeah,
So
so-
maybe it won't be as hokey as they might not go too far back. And we don't want Adam West on the cover.
I mean, I don't care
Kinda
what they
weird.
do, what kind of iteration of Batman in the
Don't
1,000
bring back the
issue.
undies.
Just don't bring back the underwear. That's not.
He's
Keep
gonna have his
underwear
underwear.
underneath your
It's
outfit.
not.
And he's gonna wear it on his head. Like, gonna wear it.
Okay.
As long as they don't
the
bring
bat
back
undies right on
Nightwing's,
his
like-
forehead.
Yeah. Okay.
As long as they don't bring back Nightwing's Liberace.
Oh God, the white
feathery-
and blue.
Oh, I hate that outfit.
Look at
the layered ruffles around his neck.
the
Oh
Mexican
my
gown that he has going
god,
on.
that shit is.
Yeah, there we go. There you go.
Yo, oh my goodness.
His long hair. You know.
I'm gonna tell Mix to get that costume for you.
Yo.
He gonna walk in the room and give you a strip tease and that.
You're really gonna ruin the relationship ends. If he comes in, you better not advise on that, yo.
I like it. I like it. I like
This shit
it.
gonna be packed.
Next.
Like to the left, yo.
Oh, my
Like
Lord.
your shit's gonna be way in a cardboard box, boy.
Damn.
All
All right.
Well,
We'll
I
have
think-
him do a booster gold.
Oh my god.
I know that drops the
You
panties,
must not
huh?
like Migs at all, yo. You must not like Migs at all, man. You just give him terrible advice. Booster Gold is
You know,
trash.
you gonna walk into the house and he gonna
I
be
hate him.
spread across the bed dressed like Booster Gold.
And
If you can't
and
get
he'll
a-
be kicked out tonight. Like we're like, okay.
they'll
it's
call
been
you
nice.
off, "Hey, you got a
Goodbye."
place to sleep for the night.
Yo, oh my god, Booster Gold is trash. By the way, fight me.
Who knows? Maybe
Believe
Scott
otherwise.
Snyder, even if Scott Snyder picks him up and makes him good, because whatever Scott Snyder touches
It's
does
gold.
become gold.
Scott Snyder is the exception. Like he made Aquaman cool again. He made all these characters that we all shitted on. He would be the exception. He would literally be it. If Scott Snyder picked up Booster Gold, I would begrudgingly, reluctantly pick up that issue. Not for Booster Gold, but for Scott.
How
I
about
believe
you
in
use
Scott.
words and not lies? We know damn well you dying for that book to be released.
I'm gonna be like, I just hate him so much.
Okay.
God.
All right. We'll have a separate episode on as to why Tia hates Booster Gold so much. Okay.
How could
All
you
right.
hate him so much if you didn't love him?
What is that? Shut up. Shut up.
All right,
Don't
guys.
manipulate me. Like,
All right, a different episode for that. I believe we hit the mark.
sure.
Next week we will be talking about metal.
Yes.
It'll be about a week and some change.
From the release.
From the release.
Yeah, that's fair.
So yeah, that'll be next week. Any shout outs, guys? Any giveaway like last statements, any thoughts, any last thoughts on anything you guys want to talk about? Nothing about Booster Gold. LaBeouf, what do you think?
I was seeing how long you want to humor me. Like,
yeah, he was just really stalling. Like, let me see how long I can say this. But I don't know. Shout out to Forge of Solitude. I haven't been there in a really long time, so I could pick up my actual issue. Hopefully, he packed it away from me because I know it's sold out. Probably.
Yeah, I was there. I was there about a month ago.
Oh, word. Yeah, I hope he's doing good. I haven't been there in a while. So yeah, shout out to Forge of Solitude. I'll be back. Pick up my issues. I was stacked up to the ceiling at this point.
Okay.
But yeah.
Ace up.
You know why I'm here.
Okay. Well, as the sun set, guys, in this mortal world.
As usual, guys, if you like this podcast, be sure to hit that like button. Leave us a comment down below what you want to hear us talk about on another show. I'm Ace Up the Alchemist.
Joshua X Snowheart.
Tia LaBeouf.
We'll get back to you guys later. Cheers.
Peace.